What's up, El Catroids? Welcome to a pretty late El Cachorro movie review. Sorry, I've seen this movie a while back and didn't get around to making the video for it. Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. So, saw this around the same time I saw what was the other one I did? The Crow? What did I give The Crow? I can't remember what review. I hope couldn't have given it too big of a score. Because this was probably better. Actually, I saw something else around this time that I actually liked better than this, but I can't remember what it was. It wasn't The Crow, though. The Crow was terrible. It was definitely not that high on that, I don't believe. Kind of this was kind of a hit or miss. There's some stuff that was kind of good, and then stuff that was kind of just meh. I mean, it definitely brought back some of the nostalgia that you love from the first Beetlejuice movie, but then it kind of just fell flat on a lot of other things. We have the returning cast of Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, and Catherine O'Hara. The husband character kind of got killed off because he's a piece of crap that's in jail for having bad stuff. We introduced a new character, new to the show was Jenna Ortega, William Dafoe, Monica Bellucci, Justin Theroux, and Arthur Conte be the big new additions. And you had to go, here and there hit characters. So, like I said, there's a lot of the story just kind of didn't fit. There's some stuff that felt really cool, and a lot of stuff that just kind of felt forced and didn't get added, bloated the movie some. So get the rating out of the way so we can get the spoilers, just because won't be trying to make this not that long of a video. It's a 6. It's probably worth watching at least once if you're a fan of the old movie. It's probably a pass if you're not that familiar with the movie. I mean, if you're just the Jenna Ortega fan, probably not really worth watching for that reason. So get the spoilers. Lydia is has a ghost show now because I guess she now sees all kinds of ghosts. She can always see ghosts now. So I guess the incidents that have happened from the first movie now mean she can see ghosts. And she starts, every once we'll have a glimpse. She'll think she saw Beetlejuice. And she starts having, so she's having that. Find out she's kind of in a relationship with the guy who's running her show. He's this really weird dude who kind of looks like he's a kiss ass because he's, using her for money. Which we find that out more later as well. That whatever said that is what it is. I mean, it kind of feels evident that's what it is as well. She gets a call from Catherine O'Hara's character, who I guess was her stepmom in the first movie. I don't remember. I didn't realize that she was adopted or that was her stepmom. I kind of thought these were her parents. So I haven't watched the first movie in forever. So apparently, I guess she was a stepmom. I guess the other guy was her actual father, possibly, I believe. Who's this modern art person that does this weird, crazy modern art stuff still, which she was in the movie in the first movie, she did the weird art stuff in that too. Made the weird sculpture. So she's gone really more psychotic with her art. And that's where she got the call that the dad has died. And like I said, they didn't want to bring the actor back in because obviously, like I said, he's got, he can. He's kind of I think he's in jail still. But, so So they do this animated thing for his death. He was in a plane wreck, then survived that just to get his head bit off by a shark. Not how sharks work, but yeah, we'll go with it. So there's this animation series for it, which fits the Beetlejuice John movie stuff, but did kind of feel weird and out of place. Just random animated scene out of the blue. Like that kind of makes sense if it's coming from Beetlejuice, but for the human characters to have a flashback to one, it just didn't seem, kind of felt a little off. So she tries to call her daughter. So Lydia's daughter is the Jenna Ortega character, Astrid, who doesn't talk to her mom, holds a grudge against her mom because apparently Astrid's father and Lydia got divorced and he got killed. He died. When did he die? Oh yeah, he's some Amazon trip. So he died from went to the Amazon and died on some Amazon trip because he was like this really big, good guy, really good person guy. I can't remember what he was supposed to be there doing. So it's been about a couple weeks since I've seen this movie. But Lydia can't see the father. So she also doesn't believe Lydia can see ghosts. She kind of thinks it's all just made up hocus pocus. And if you can see ghosts, why can't you see Dad? And blah blah blah. So they have this strange life. So they go to get her because Grandpa died. So they go back to the old house from the first movie because they're going to do the funeral there and then try and like sell off the house and all that stuff. Do we have some of the underworld at this point yet? So we think we go to the underworld where Beetlejuice is working like in a call area with people calling in that need help, getting rid of people. So he's doing that, and he kind of mentions that he's trying to show himself to Lydia and all that stuff. He's like, I think she saw me and all this stuff. Like the guy from the guys with the shrunken heads in the last are back, and one of them is like his right hand man and stuff like that. And he works with all the guys with shrunken heads. And something happens. Where does this happen? Or maybe it happens the other way. So while we're at the other scene, they go back to supposedly the original two ghosts found a loophole. The original married couple that was lived in the haunted house, they found a loophole that let them pass on to the afterlife. But they still have the town at the top. So that's up there. And meanwhile, so they get preparing for the funeral, and Lydia's fiance decides he wants to marry her on Halloween right after they get done with the funeral. And I guess she's like so like messed up. So Lydia's all messed up and stuff. So and stuff like that. So she's like super codependent. So she kind of agrees to do it reluctantly. So somehow I can't remember exactly what happened, but something happens in this room where this boxes come together, and this woman that was cut into pieces starts putting herself back together. This is Monica Bellucci's character Dolores. So she like starts stapling all her parts back together and everything like that because she was hacked up, and she's looking for Beetlejuice, and she can suck the souls out of the dead and make them permadead, make them dead. So she's looking for Beetlejuice. We also read William Dafoe's character is Wolf Jackson, a dead actor who now is the cop of the underworld. So he's like confronting Beetlejuice about her and saying, "Yeah, I'd lay low if I was you. If she's, this chick's bad news." So we have a couple little run-ins and stuff. Then there's one time the fiance calls Beetlejuice, then he gets sucked down and had like this little thing where he's actually like the therapist, pulls some of the Beetlejuice jokes, like some of the typical Beetlejuice jokes, which are nice, good scares. And then they're able to escape it and get back to the real world. So that there's a big fight between her and her daughter. Her daughter just goes biking through town, and I'm watching this half the time. She's like driving the bike down the road, not really paying attention to stuff. And like, it's like, are they going to kill her daughter? And she can become a dead. Then she has a near death, almost gets hit by the bus by a car, and she starts going down this whole little thing, going nuts. She ends up going through a fence and kind of crashing into a tree, knocking her head. So I was like, so right now I'm kind of like, then she sees some boy in the tree. Some boy in the tree house starts talking to him. So they start talking. They go back into his place. His parents are kind of there, but they're not really paying attention. Go back to his room, and he has the famous book from the first movie, The Dead and Deceased, or something like that, whatever it's called. He says he found it in a bookstore. This guy's kind of like, something seems a little off here. But obviously they're kind of getting romantic with each other. And they decide to meet up on Halloween. So fast. Some more scenes going back and forth with, just some other stuff happens. It's not really. Dolores is going around still sucking the life out of people, hunting down Beetlejuice. Then so Lydia drops Astrid off at the boy's house. Thought it kind of looked like a weird house and everything that they were getting dropped off. The house looked kind of run down a little bit. Then when she gets back, she's like talking to like another person from the town who's like, "Oh, nobody lives in that house." The boy went nuts and like killed his parents and killed himself. Find out the boy's a ghost. Now I guess when Astrid hit her head, she can now see ghosts. And he shows up. He tells her he's a ghost and like, "Hey, well, here's the thing though. You can help me, and I can help you find your dad." So he makes a little pathway to go to the underworld. And it turns out it's a trick. He has to, for him to get his life back, he has to get somebody else instead. He has to switch places with someone pretty much. So he kind of is conning her into it. Lydia finds out about it. She calls Beetlejuice. She makes a deal with Beetlejuice. Help me get my daughter and I'll marry you. So then he takes her he kind of breaks her into the underworld to go after her. And then that gets the cops, the undead cop starts chasing after them because he found out there's living people down there. And so the switch kind of happens, and they're getting ready to throw her on Astrid on the Soul Train, where they have the people actually doing the old Soul Train show. They take her away, and Lydia is able to get there in time and stop it. And we find that the dad shows up to help him out. She runs into the dad. He's pretty much looks like he fell into the Amazon and got eaten by piranhas because he got piranhas all over him and stuff like that. So he helps them kind of escape it. And obviously we get some sandworm scenes somewhere mixed in. So like I said, there's a lot of. They're trying to do all the greatest hits of everything here. So they're trying to hit everything. So he helps them out. Then the goose getting ready to pass this thing to get back to life, and it turns out it's Beetlejuice of the thing. And he damns him to hell and drops him. Boom! That storyline's over. That story. So boof! That story's over. So they get saved. The mom, the mom, Catherine O'Hare, is like doing some kind of stunt, and she gets some non-poisonous vipers. So didn't catch that part at first. So she's holding them up, and they bite her, and she dies and goes to the underworld. Obviously, it's non-venomous snakes is what you want. Not all snakes are not poisonous. So I guess that was supposed to be the joke. So she gets killed, and then she runs. So then she ends up running, getting called for Beetlejuice to help her because now she doesn't believe she's supposed to be there. So the other two characters, they escape through. So the dad helps them. Says, "Oh, I've been checking in on you. I hide and check on you, on both of you." So she hasn't seen him because he won't let her see him. This is pretty much how it turns out. What it turns out to be, and he just spies on him. He just checks in on him secretly. So they escape. Obviously, they come out at a mausoleum in the cemetery. Where that just happens to be the church where they're supposed to be getting married that night. So the wedding starts, but then Beetlejuice and the mom character, Delilah, show up. and Beetlejuice takes over the whole wedding and breaks up stops the whole wedding, and then Dolores shows up, and Beetlejuice also has the fiance also comes true, makes him come true about what he really that he's only after the money. Then they kind of push Dolores and the fiance together, and then they get eaten by a. They do the whole little trick to get a sandworm to show up, but Beetlejuice tricks the sandworm into eating them two instead. Then the cop breaks in, and Beetlejuice is able to freeze them. He freezes everybody. There's a song dance where he makes everybody sing the song that goes on way too long. And they find a. He's like, she has signed a contract. She has to marry me. He's like, there's a loophole. You brought a dead living person to the underworld, so that breaks the contract. And boom, they're able to get rid of Beetlejuice. Boom. The end. So now, so Lydia gives up her show. Now her mom. So throughout the movie, we've seen there's a bunch of scenes we see of this corpse body walking around. That's just his head's missing and everything's missing. Just kind of wandering around, squirting blood all over the place. And ends up being that's the dead husband, the dead Delilah's dead husband that they, like I said, got ate by the shark. So they get reunited in the underworld. They go with their death, and Lydia quits her ghost show and becomes, her and Astrid get closer and start doing stuff, and then she has a nightmare from something that pulled back scenes from earlier in the movie. It's kind of really like I said, it's just so much. It's complicated. They just jump around so much and do so much crap that it's really just convoluted, and just they try to hit so many, they bring in the sandworms. We got to do the shrunken head people, and try to hit that, but they had like the wife of Beetlejuice was a grave robber, and Dolores was a succubus, I guess you would say, or some kind of cultist. She marries Beetlejuice. She finds him robbing a grave. She marries him, and her goal is to kill him and sacrifice him to the devil or something like that. Before he dies, he kills her and chops her into pieces, and so now she's after him as beloved. That whole thing really was kind of went nowhere. I mean, that was they set up the movie of her being this big bad, and they just kind of, as soon as she shows up, is like, boom, boom, oh, you don't really love me, here, take this guy, he's better for you. And the two characters look at each other and kind of almost seem like they're agreeing to it, and then they get eaten by a sandworm. It's total waste. They keep showing us William Dafoe cop character would pop up from time to time, and he doesn't really do much of anything. So that character's kind of waste. Obviously the storyline with the young dead murderous boy who murdered his parents, which we do see how they were ghosts in the house, is what we find out eventually. That sets up the whole Lydia going to the underworld thing to go save her, but then they hadn't even rushed and wrapped that up by just dropping him in a pit to hell. So it's kind of an ideal for a movie, but just didn't really flush it out and just kind of pushed everything out real quick. So I was like, this could have been so much better. They said some of these side angles you could have just cut out of the movie, or actually the wife character, the Dolores character, could have been really good if they actually played up the character more. And then they just quickly wrapped it up oh, you broke a contract, so don't have to marry you. So you signed a contract to help her by taking her to the underworld, which automatically breaks the contract at the same time. So that was kind of convenient, which is a lot of just convenient stuff that was what happened to say in this movie. So they kind of just really just felt like they dropped the ball a bit. That's why I said it's a 6. It's maybe just slightly above average. There's some enjoyment out of watching it just once if you're familiar with the movie. Overall, let's see. This movie is done fun but shallow. That's a good $100 million budget estimated. It's made $332 million worldwide, so it's been profitable. Turned a profit. So no, maybe we'll get a third one. But yeah, this was one that kind of wanted more from. Just came up short. So like I said, it's a 6. It's a worth watching once. Maybe wait till it hits a streamer. At this point, I think its theater run's pretty much done anyways. I don't think it's even out anywhere. But yeah, so that's my review of Beetlejuice, and sorry it took so long getting it. We also just uploaded my Transformers one, and then still got to watch the next episode of Agatha before I can make that next episode like issue. And there's a few things maybe in October I think might be worth checking out. So we might have some other October movies to come up. Till then, Cachorro out.